Hey guys, it's your friend Jesse over here at Print and Play, the store of the future. Almost. And I say almost because you can have the smartest store in the world, but if the store doesn't have a brain with the ability to function and think for itself, then what's the point, right? What's the point of even having a store if it can't think? You might remember our Audioli speakers, our magical macaroni pasta speakers. They're great. But we haven't been using them since we built a far superior speaker set in the form of these golden ratio horn speakers. Also, all the single mamas and people with disabilities can't let us know they need help getting in. So follow along for today's episode, which I call the doorbell, because anyone can just buy a doorbell, but this is Print and Play. We make things more complicated here. First off, a Raspberry Pi, Model 5 in this case, 8 gigs of RAM, 2.4 gigahertz ARM core. Toss it in a case printed from PETG. Add an official Home Assistant ZBT1 Sky Connect, and you're ready to transmit and receive that good low-power open source wireless network standard, Zigbee. I wouldn't want to connect a smart store together with anything else. Got myself a cheap micro SD card, fired up the Raspberry Pi imager, told it to install Home Assistant on the card for the RPI 5, and let it do its job. Pop that puppy out, find a random spot on a shelf with children's toys, and since it's the closest I can connect directly to the router, try the default Home Assistant address until it boots and starts installing on the Pi itself. Go through the motion, set it up, find all the cool things it already recognizes, like every WLED controller in the store, as well as the IKEA door sensor I tossed up yesterday. It just finds it. It's crazy. Added to the Home Assistant. I love Zigbee. So we got some gear from the great Sonoff, but also trying out the new kid, Third Reality. Simple doorbell. And all of it. Zigbee. Did I tell you I love Zigbee? As soon as I pop out the doorbell and hit the pairing button, it got recognized by Home Assistant Zigbee Wireless. Now, whenever I hit the button, it's reading on or off in Home Assistant. We can use that. Next, we need audio in the speakers. So I'm going to try creating an audio node using an SP32 microcontroller, an ITS Class D amplifier to turn signal into audio, which itself feeds a stereo amplifier to pump the gas a bit with 12 volts of power. All of that should run to the speaker lines. The SP Home add-on inside the stored's brain helps me flash and compile a custom set of operating instructions to turn the little SP32 into a dedicated audio streaming device on the Wi-Fi network. Address and signal strength are good. Wiring is good, power is good, connection's good, test fire, no errors, but no audio. I tried compiling an alternate script with the help of GPT. Frankly, if you're not using chatbots to help you code, you're asleep at the wheel. Fire again, no sound again. So when someone walks into the store, I still don't get an audio notification, like an idiot. That's what I'm trying to do first, by the way, create a door chime. And I can't tell you how many times I tried to get the ESP32 to work. I tried for hours. The day was starting to drag on, the store filled up with people, and some of them had loud kids who were driving me nuts. Shifting gears. The Raspberry Pi 3 still had a 3.5mm audio jack. I can use that. I flashed Raspberry Pi OS Lite, took it off its fancy screen. It's also got that wireless chip for 2.4 gigahertz wireless and Bluetooth. That's the money. So I popped it on the shelf where it's going to live. Then I needed an actual male audio jack, so I cut one up and found the 3 wires I was hoping for, left, right, and balance, or ground, or whatever they call it these days. Disconnected the amps from the crap node. I'll use the 12-volt amp for its amplification. Slapped some flux and solder it together, as well as I possibly could with the strange plastic fibers in the cable. But it don't need to be fancy, it just gotta work. The 12 volts will feed the amp will feed the speakers, and it all plugs into the satellite Raspberry Pi. Using SSH and PowerShell, I can wirelessly bash into this new audio computer and make it default to the 3.5mm jack for audio. Then run a test command to play tone. And it actually works. I put a command into my laptop terminal and made the speakers make sound. Sick. Control-C to stop. Next, I tried to sudo some scripts to compile to make this thing pretend to be an Apple TV for network streaming, but it just didn't like it. So I converted it into a MPD device, or Media Player Daemon for short. And honestly, Home Assistant had 0 problems with it. Found the device, ran a test action, and... insane. I also tossed ALSA Mixer into the Audio Pi so I can connect via PowerShell and get this little graphic interface. How cool is that? And now the real magic. Tossing together an automation that uses the door sensor state as a trigger to prompt media playback on the Audioli speakers. I uploaded a proper doorbell sound to let us know when people come in. Oh my goodness, what a sound! Bonus points if you recognize the movie it's from. Oh, and of course, the actual doorbell. That was the whole point. So I programmed that and mocked up a little sign to let people know that if they need assistance, they can push the button and someone from the store will come out to the door and help you in. And that's the story of how we got our doorbell. Stay tuned for the next episode where we give the Raspberry Pi virtual sentience with artificial intelligence and make it control our front sign, which will blast people with water for smoking cigarettes outside of a toy store. Like, comment, share, and subscribe because this is just getting started. See you next time.